I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Peace and safety to the hopefully elect. All the Akim scattered across the four corners, pushing his word in sincerity and in truth. This is 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 20. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. And the prophecy I'm going to deal with in this lesson is in the book of Isaiah, chapter 34. Because the private interpretation is that this is referring to America being destroyed by nuclear missiles. And I'm going to show you through precept upon precept, all right, without any private interpretation or any extrapolations, that this is not referring to a place, all right. It's referring to the nation of Edom, all right, mainly, all right. This is prophecy dealing with Mystery Babylon, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man, all right, and the other nations, all right. This is prophecy dealing with the Lord returning with the destruction, and it's not referring to America or it's not referring to nuclear missiles, okay. And without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start in verse 1, and it reads, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and to hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it." So this is referring to all nations, all right. Verse 2, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury is upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." Okay, so now I'm going to get the first precept, and I'm going to show you that Isaiah had the same vision that John the Revelator had. The Lord showed him the same vision. All right, so this is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And it says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war." Verse 12, "His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and had the name written that no man knew but himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Lord." Okay, and this is referring to who? The world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai. Okay, so let's go back to the Isaiah, all right, and read verse 2 again. And it says, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies." Okay, it's just like we read in Revelation, the same vision that John the Revelator had. He has utterly destroyed them and has delivered them to the slaughter. Verse 3, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of the carcass, and the mountains and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." Now we know that blood cleanses the land, man. So like I say, this is prophecy going into the Lord returning. All right, like I say, the private interpretation is that this is referring to America. All right, but this is a message to all nations. All right, this is a message to not just one country. All right, referring to America. This is a message to all nations. Okay, so it says, verse 3, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcass, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood." And I'm going to get a precept, Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 27. And it reads, "For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be." And like I say, this is a prophecy dealing with Yahweh Shai returning with the destruction, man. All right. And it says, verse 28, "For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered. Because in Revelations chapter 19 and verse 21, it speaks of the fowls of the air consuming the flesh of the people that the Lord put to death. All right, so this is Revelation 19:21. The remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. All right, referring to Yahweh Shai, of course, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. All right, so like I say, this prophecy is not referring to America, okay, or any particular place. It's dealing with nations, all right, and nations mean race, man, referring to people, all right, not a place. So I'm gonna start from the top and read it with some understanding. So it says, "Come near ye nations," all right. So it's not just referring to the land of America. "To hear and hearken ye people, let the earth hear." Okay, so not just America, all right, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Okay, all nations, including the nation of Israel, man. All right, because the majority of Israelites, the Lord is going to destroy them as well. Reading on, "in his fury upon all their armies." Okay, just like we read in Revelations. All right, chapter 19. All right, I think I want to get that again. Revelations chapter 19 and verse 11. "But I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war." All right, so he's coming back to make war. Like I say, this is prophecy dealing with the Lord returning with the destruction, man. All right, war upon who? The armies, all the armies, man, the armies of the nations. So it says his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head was a crown, and he had the name written that no man knew but himself, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Power. And the armies, this is referring to his armies right here. He said, "And the armies that were in heaven followed him upon the white horse, clothed in fine linen, white and clean." And it says, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, and with it he shall smite the nations. All right. So this is who this message in Isaiah chapter 34 is referring to. All the nations, man. Okay, the whole earth. Okay. And it says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he shall tread at the winepress and the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty. So I'm gonna go back up to Salakia, to Isaiah. Back to the book of Isaiah and verse 2, and it says, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations." Okay, not just the land of America, man. He's not referring to America. All right, like I say, the word nation means your nationality, mean race. All right, it's not referring to a place, and his fury is upon all their armies, and that's why he's coming back to make war. Okay, he has utterly destroyed them. All right, referring to what Revelations chapter 12. All right, they prevailed not. He have delivered them to the slaughter. The slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall go up out of their carcass. All right, in the scripture I read in Matthew 24 and 28, where Yahweh Shai himself said, "Wherever the carcass at, that's where the eagle gonna be." All right, And when you read Revelation 19:21, it tells you about the fowls of the air consuming the flesh, all right, of those who's gonna be slaughtered by the Lord, man. Okay? So it's not referring to American, like I say, that private interpretation of Isaiah 34 referring to the land of America, all right, being destroyed. That this is not what that's referring to, man. It's dealing with all nations, all right, all their armies, okay. It's not dealing with America, just one place, man. It's not dealing with a place at all. So verse 4. This is Isaiah 34:4, and it said, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree." Now, the private interpretation on this particular scripture here is that it's referring to nuclear destruction. All right, and when you read the scripture, you don't. It has nothing to do with nuclear destruction, man. That's a private interpretation. And I'm gonna get a precept in the book of Revelations, chapter 6, and verse 12, and it reads, "And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake." All right, and like this earthquake, the private interpretation that we was taught by our elders is that this earthquake is referring to nuclear destruction, man, and that's just not so. All right, an earthquake is an earthquake. All right, that's one of the thing that's part of the Lord's sword, man. Okay, that's part of his destruction. That's part of one of his instruments that he used for destruction. All right, it's not referring to a nuclear missile, man. That's a private interpretation. All right, and it says, "And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars, okay, and the stars of heaven, and the star. We know who the main star is. That's Yahweh Shai. All right, let's get that. That's in Revelation 9 and verse 1. It says, And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven into the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit." All right, so this is referring to Yahweh Shai returning to the earth, man. All right, like I say, he's the main star of the show. So when you go back to Revelation 6, and verse 13, and it says, "And the stars," all right, plural, all right, like we read in Revelation 19, like we're going to read in Revelation 19, all right, it's referring to the rest of the host, man. All right, so it says, "And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs." And the reason it used untimely, because no man know the hour, man. Not even Yahweh Shai. So when the Heavenly Father say go, all right, he gonna give the host of heaven, the angels, all right, he's gonna give them the commandment to go, all right, and then they just gonna go, okay. So that's why I use the word untimely, all right. When she is shaken of a mighty wind. I'm going to read that again. And it says, "And the stars of heaven," all right, referring to Yahweh Shai and the angels, "fell unto the earth." Let's get a precept so we can prove that point. Revelation 19 and I believe verse, let's see. Revelation 19 and 19. That's not it, Salakia. Oh, Revelations 19 and 14. And it says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horse, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. All right, those armies referring to the stars, man. All right, the stars of heaven. So let's go back to Revelation 6. Revelation 6 and 13. And it says, and the stars of heaven, referring to those armies, all right, Yahweh Shai and the hosts, fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Okay, so now let's go back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 4. And it says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Okay, so that's what that's referring to. All right, the hosts of heaven, man, meaning the angels, the armies. All right, they're referred to as stars in Revelation 6. All right, and let's get another precept to prove that it's referring to the angels. All right, Revelation 9 and verse 14. And it says, saying to the sixth angel which had the Salakia, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to Revelation 6. Revelation 6 and 12, and it says, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, all right, that sixth trumpet, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars, all right, the armies, the angels, all right, of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Okay, so let's go back to Revelation 9. Revelation 9 and 14. And it says, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels, all right, which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels was loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. All right, so that's what that referring to in Isaiah chapter 34. All right, reading on, it says, verse 16, and the number of the army, because it's just not four angels, all right? Those are the four captains of their squadrons, man, okay? Remember, you got the red horse, okay? With the sword, you got the black horse, all right? That's coming with the famine. You got the speckled horse, you know, the bay horse, all right? So you have four captains. But verse 16 say, and the number of the army, referring to those stars, all right, of the horsemen were 200,000 and thousand, and I heard the number of them. Okay, so like I said, it ain't just four angels, man. All right, they're just the captains of their squadron. Reading on, Verse 17, and thus I saw the horses in a vision and them that sat on them. All right, so the horses are referring to the chariots, and the them that sat on them is referring to the angels, having breastplates of fire, and with jacinth and brimstone. All right, because they control the elements, man, and the fire that come out of those chariots. All right, it's the same fire that bring the brimstone. All right, that fire is able to purify. Let's look it up. Brimstone, sufferous, suffer like. Let's see. It says divine incense because burning brimstone was regarded as having power to purify and to ward off disease. All right, and this is the kind of fire that the Lord is bringing, man. So it says, and thus I saw the horses, the chariots, in the vision. All right, so he's getting the same vision that Isaiah had, man. Okay, so it says, and them that sat on them, referring to the stars, to the armies, to the angels, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone. All right, that divine fire, that purifying agent. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. All right, that purifying fire, man, that divine fire. Okay, and basically that's the point on that. Let's go back to the book of Isaiah. Like I say, this is not referring to America, man, a place, okay? Of course, the Edomites that's in America gonna get it, okay? But it's not referring to a place. It's referring to people, man. Okay, so this is Isaiah chapter 34. And we'll start at verse 4. And it says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all the hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. And that's referring to those angels. All right. Verse 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. And that's referring to the Lord's sword, man. All right. Going back to Isaiah chapter 54, referring to the smith that bringeth forth that instrument. That instrument is the Lord's sword, man, that he created for what? Destruction. Okay. So it says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down. All right, it shall come down, because what the angels, they're referred to as falling. All right, falling from heaven, or falling from a fig tree to do what? Come down upon Idumea, referring to who? The Edomites. All right, not the land of America, not the country America. All right, but the Edomites would be the Americans. Okay, and we all know that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, all over in Europe, man, you got Edomites. Okay, that's ruling. You got Edomites over there in Australia. You got Edomites in Africa. All right, so it's not just dealing with a place, man. It's dealing with the nation of Edom, mystery Babylon, man. Okay, so it said, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold. All right, and the Lord's sword is referring to those angels, man. Okay, it shall come down, meaning the angels gonna descend from heaven. All right, along with Yahweh Shai. All right, thousands of angels. All right, the stars of heaven. And shall come down upon Idumea, all right, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man, all right, the whole white race, the whole so-called white race, man, woman, and child, and upon the people, all right, it's not referring to a place, man, and upon the people of my curse to judgment, referring to the nation of Edom, okay, not referring to America, man, all right. Reading on verse 6, my sword, the sword of the Lord is filled with the blood. It is made fat with fatness and with blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidney of rams. For the Lord has a sacrifice in Basra. All right, in Basra. All right, not on Basra. All right, in Basra. All right, and we was taught from my elders that Basra is referring to America. All right, so that's why I said he's coming to sacrifice the Americans. All right, he said he has a sacrifice in Basra. All right, on the who? Edomites, Mystery Babylon, the nation of Edom, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. You see, upon people. All right. So now let's get a precept, man. Isaiah. We're gonna stay in the book of Isaiah, chapter 63, and we'll start at verse 1. And it said, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra?" All right, we know he has a sacrifice in Basra. All right, upon the people. This that is glorious in his apparel, travailing in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. All right, just like we read in the book of Isaiah. All right, referring to the beast. All right, that's who he's going to tread upon. All right, Edom. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger. The people, man, not referring to a place, man. And trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. And I looked, and there was none. Reading on. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury is upheld me. Verse 6. And I will tread down the people. All right, people. All right, this is not referring to America, man. All right, it's referring to people. All right, all nations. Okay, this is a message to all nations, particularly, all right, the Idumeans. All right, the so-called white man. All right, which is referred to as Mystery Babylon. All right. So it says, and I will tread down the people in my anger and make them drink in the fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. All right. And that's referring to what? Babylon is falling. He will bring down their strength. All right. Meaning move them out of rulership, man. Let's get another precept. In the book of Revelations, chapter 19, in verse 14, and it says, and the armies, Salakia, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horse, clothed in linen, white and clean, and out of his mouth goeth sharp swords, and with it he should smite the nations. And he will rule them with a rod of iron, and he will tread the winepress of the fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty. So Isaiah was getting the same vision. Salakia, John the Revelator was getting the same vision that Isaiah was getting, man. All right. And like I said, it's not referring to America, man. He would tread the people. All right. He's dealing with people, with flesh. He's going to plead with all flesh, which that plead means to judge, man. Okay. So read that again. It says, and out of his mouth goeth sharp swords, that with it he shall smite the nations. All right, that's what those his host is for, man. His armies. All right, those thousands and thousands of angels to smite the nations. All right, it's not referring to America. All right, it's referring to the Americans. All right, the Europeans. Okay, the Edomites, man, the whole nation, wherever they at, man, because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, they borders is the whole earth, the whole known earth as we know it to be right now, man. All right, they're in rulership. Okay, so this is a riddle, man. I mean, and through the precepts is the only way you're gonna solve it. So it says that with it he shall smite the nations, which the word nation mean race, man. Let's look that up. Nations, a multitude, tribe, nations. Let's see, a race. All right, that's what the word nations mean, not the definition that Esau give you. All right, he will have you to believe that nations is referring to a country, like we will be all part of one nation. All right, like he have in his Star Bangle Banner bullshit, man. Okay, one nation under all. A nation is a race, man. Okay, so going back. It says, and he will smite the nations, meaning the races, okay, people, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he shall tread the wine press of the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty. Okay, so let's go back and get the Isaiah. Go back to Isaiah chapter 34, and we're gonna read it with understanding, man. Isaiah 34 and I believe verse 5 and 6. So it says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it will come down upon Idumea, all right, the actual people, all right, of that nation, all right, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with the blood, filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys and rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, all right, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Okay, so in the land of Idumea. So let's jump to verse 7. And it says, and the unicorn shall come down, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood. Because we know that blood cleanses the land, man. All right. And furthermore, Esau don't have any land, man. All his land is stolen land that belonged to other nations, man, other races. All right. So it's referring to the people, man. All right. So as we read on, it says, and their dust made fat with fatness for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance upon the nation of Edom and all nations. Like I say, this is a message to all nations, including the majority of Israel, man. All right. Why? Because ye of your father the devil. All right. So the terrorists is gonna receive the same destruction, man, as the rest of the nations, man. Okay, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. All right, so he's going to come redeem his people, man, his elect. Okay, verse 9, and it reads, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch. All right, he's going to burn these Edomites up, man. Okay. Like I said, it's not referring to America, okay, or is not referring to nuclear missiles, because that's what we was taught by our elders. Now we at verse 9 and we haven't read anything about America or nuclear missiles. Okay. So it says verse 9, and the screams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone. And we know that that comes from the Lord, man. That's that divine fire, man. Okay, that's not referring to nuclear destruction. Okay. So it says the screams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof shall be into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. All right, so now we have to get a precept on that. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna read it in another translation in the easy English, and this is Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 7, and it says, and wild cows will fall with them, young male cows will die with the old cows, blood will go into their land, meat will go into their earth. The Lord has chosen a day when he shall punish people. Okay, he shall punish people, and he is right to do that. It will be a year when the Lord helps Zion, all right, the elect, and it will be a year when he punished Zion's enemies. All right, and our main enemy is the nation, the race, all right, the whole race, man, woman, and child. All right, the so-called white man, the Edomites, man, mystery Babylon, the wicked. All right, verse 9, the screams is sandy places in Edom will turn into pitch. All right, and we know the Lord referred to people as sand. Okay, let's get that. Let's get that in book of Hosea. Prove that point, that the Lord referred to people as sand. And it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. It shall come to pass that in the place where it is said unto them, ye are not the people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. But the point is, in the beginning of the verse, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea. And I read that to prove that the Lord compares people to sand. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go back. Isaiah 34 and 9, and it said, and the screams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become a burning pitch. All right, now let's finish up in the easy English. It says, verse 9, and the screams in sandy places in Edom will turn into pitch. In Edom, in the nation of Edom. All right, not in America, man, because Edom controls the whole known earth right now, the whole known earth, man, as we know it. All right, from America to Europe. All right, because the Russians, the British, the Australians, all right, they all Edomites, man. The Germans, all those European countries over there, man, all across the known world, man. Like I said, as we know it, the scriptures tell you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, referring to the Edomites, man, the whole earth. And in Malachi it tells you they shall be called the border of wickedness. All right, so where are they borders, man? The whole earth, man, that was given unto them. Okay, So it says the streams into sandy places in Edom, all right, referring to people, will turn into pitch. Its ground will be turned into sulfur that is burning. All right, that fire from the Lord, man. Okay. Its land will become pitch that is on fire. Okay. And where's they land? The whole known earth. So the Lord is not gonna burn the whole earth, man. All right. But he's gonna burn these Edomites, though. Okay. He's gonna burn these Edomites. So uh let's move on. Let's get another precept. Let's get another precept to prove that point. The book of Matthew 13 and 38, dealing with that land, because the Lord refers to the sand. Sand is land, man. That's earth. Okay, but it's referring to the nation of Edom. Like I say, it's a parable, man. It's a dark saying. Okay, in dealing with the wheat and the tares, I just wanted to pull this up just to show that once again he referred to people. All right, we showed in Hosea 1 and 10 that he referred to people as sand. All right, and in this verse he refers to people as land, as a field. So it says, then the field is the world. This is Matthew 13:38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. All right, and y'all know the understanding on this. The point I want to make with this is the Lord referred to people as sand and as land. Okay, so going back to Isaiah, all right, in chapter 34 and verse 9, to read it with understanding, all right, through the Spirit, man. All right, it says without any private interpretation, extrapolation. All right, because like I said, we was taught by our elders that this here was referring to America. Okay, so it says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. All right, and we know that the Lord is going to burn these people up and all the elements. All right, all their elements, man, all Esau creation, man, his buildings, his tall skyscrapers, all right, his fighter jets, his tanks, his cars, all right, all that's going to be burnt up. All right, so this is not referring to America. Okay, so reading on, let's see, verse 10, Isaiah 34 and 10. It says, it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, for generation to generation. It shall lie waste, referring to the nation of Edom, man. All right, they going into captivity. All right, just like the nation of Israel, we lie in waste, man. All right, and that's why it says from generation to generation, it shall lie waste. All right, none shall pass through it forever and ever, because they're not gonna ever rise again, man. All right, and let's prove that point, man. Let's get a precept. Book of Revelations, Revelation 14 and 10. Revelation 14 and 10. It say, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the power, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment, all right, because that's what's representing the smoke, all right, the smoke of their torment, that's them being tormented, Okay? Forever. All right? Captivity, man. All right? Captivity. So it says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. So that's what that's referring to, man. Okay? And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and whose image and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. All right, so all of them gonna get the brimstone, man, the fire and the brimstone. Okay, let's get another precept. I'll stay in the book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 18, and it reads, and he cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? All right, referring to people, man. All right, it's not referring to America. All right, this is metaphoric, man. It's not referring to America. Okay, it's referring to the people that I just read about in Revelation 14. Okay, that was thrown into the fire burning with the brimstone, man. And he cried and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning. All right, when they see Esau, all right, Babylon fall, saying, what city is like unto this city, this great city? All right, talking about the nation of Edom. Okay, let's get another precept. Revelations 19 and 3. It says, and again they said, hallelujah, and her smoke rose up forever and ever. Meaning captivity, man, forever and ever. This is not referring to America being hit with nuclear missiles and nuclear destruction, and they smoke, and the smoke coming up from America forever. All right, this is a parable, man. This is a dark saying. Okay, this is a dark saying. So going back to Isaiah, to the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, and verse 10. And it reads, and it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever from generation to generation. Because they're going to be born into captivity, man. They're not going to ever rise again. It shall lie waste, meaning the whole nation of Edom, every man, woman, and child, not referring to America being hit with nuclear missiles. All right, that's a private interpretation. None shall pass through it forever. All right, now let me see. Let's see. Let's go on to the next scripture. This is verse 11. And it says, but the cornet and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. Not referring to America, man. Okay? And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion. Meaning, the it is referring to the nation of Edom. And the stones of emptiness. And the stones of emptiness. Now let's get the precept. Get some understanding on that. This is our Revelations 18 and 2. And it says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great, that great city, all right, that we just read about in Revelations chapter 14. All right, let's get that. Revelation chapter 14. Revelations chapter 14. And what verse was that? What verse was that? That was Isaiah 14. No, that was Salakia. That was Revelation 18. and 18. And it says, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? All right. Not referring to America, man. All right. Because people are referred to in the scriptures as cities. Okay. I think we proved that point many times. So now let's jump back to Revelation 18 and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. It's fallen, that great city. The nation of Edom. Okay? The nation of Edom. The great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils and the hole of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now, let's go back to Isaiah. And we're going to read it with understanding. And that's Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 11. And it says, well, let's start at verse 10. It says, and it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, for generation to generation. It shall lie in waste, none shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cornet and the bitten shall possess it. Referring to what? To Revelation 18 and 2. All right? And we're going to prove that. And the bitten shall possess it. All right? It's not referring to America. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. All these are unclean birds, man. Unclean fowls. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion. All right? Referring to the nation of Esau. Mystery Babylon. All right? The daughter of Babylon. All right? And the stones of emptiness. All right? And this is where those evil spirits going to dwell. All right? Because people are also referred to in the scriptures as stones. All right? And the stones of emptiness. And this is where those evil spirits are going to dwell. All right? Within the nation of Edom. Okay? They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. Referring to the nation of Edom. And thorns shall come up in her places, needles and brambles in the fortress thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons. All right? Going back to that serpent. All right? And a court of owls. All right? And a court of owls. Now let's go back to that Revelation 18 and 2. We got to read that again. Revelation 18 and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, is fallen. All right? That's that great city. All right? That's that line of confusion, because that's what Babylon means, confusion. And it's become the habitation of devils. All right? Those stones of emptiness, man. All right? And the whole of every foul spirit and caged bird, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All right? Like we read in Isaiah. I think I'm going to have to go back and read it again. And it says, but the cornet and the bitten shall possess it. Referring to the nation of Edom, not America. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. Okay? And reading on, and they shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all their princes shall be nothing. All right, that's Babylon fallen, man. All right, that great city. All right, those stones of emptiness. And thorns shall come up in her places, needles and brambles, in the fortress thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons, and a court of fowls, the whole of every cage and foul bird. All right, and that's the point. I hope y'all was edified. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.